So it wasn't all great news for Nvidia stock investors in the latest quarterly earnings release. In this video, I'm going to talk about a couple of things about Nvidia's business that underperformed in the latest quarter and how the management team is addressing that, why those segments underperformed, and what the future looks like for those segments specifically. Overall, I thought it was a great quarter for Nvidia. But of course, in any business, in any quarter, there's always some things that didn't quite go according to plan. And that's okay. That's just the normal course of doing business. When you have a massive opportunity in the data center AI category, you tend to put all your attention in that category. And so some things may be left behind and some things may underperform. And that's okay. But let's talk about what those things were and what the prospects are for those segments for NVIDIA for the next few quarters.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So starting with NVIDIA's business in China, which of course has been damaged significantly because of export restrictions that restrict NVIDIA from selling its latest and greatest technology to companies in China. And the management team said that absent any changes in those regulations, we believe that China's shipments will remain roughly at the current percentage, which is way lower than where it was, let's say, 4 or 6 years ago, or even as recently as 3 years ago. But what I was thinking about as I was going through this earnings call is the stock market and Nvidia stock investors in general have kind of just accepted the fact that Nvidia is no longer going to be able to sell their latest and greatest technology to China, that it's just a foregone conclusion that the relationship with China is forever ended and it's just a market that Nvidia will not be able to participate in anytime soon. But since the market's already priced in that belief, that now creates an upside opportunity, right? I'm not saying the chances of this is high by any stretch of the imagination, but if there were to be some kind of US China deal that eases these relations and ends some of these restrictions, it could be in combination. If you were paying attention this morning, President Trump announced an additional 10% tariff on imports from China, so that will increase the tariff percentage to 20% just from the current administration, not counting from the previous Trump presidency. So if China were to come to the negotiating table and give in to some of the asks from the Trump administration, and there should be some grand deal that includes a reduction in tariffs, that includes an elimination of these export restrictions, that could be a huge benefit to Nvidia. That's a massive untapped market opportunity that could significantly boost Nvidia's sales and profitability, especially because those businesses in China that have been held back for a few years now will rush to make up for lost time in purchasing these GPUs and will also feel like they want to hurry up and get these chips before there may be another disruption because of some disagreement from how the deal is implemented. So there's, admittedly, a very low percentage chance this will happen anytime soon, but it's a non-zero chance. It's a non-zero probability that contains significant upside for Nvidia and Nvidia stock investors should there be that kind of deal put in place. So the networking business also struggled for Nvidia. It declined 3% sequentially and even more than that year over year. In the latest quarterly earnings release, the company highlighted networking revenue came in at $3 billion, which was down 3% from the previous quarter, but it was down 9% from the same quarter last year. This is as the company's data center business was up by 93%. So being down 9% is not a big deal, but being down 9% in a segment when the overall segment of data center business was up by 93% is a stark difference, which raised questions. And Nvidia alluded to some of that in the latest earnings call. The management said that they expect networking to return to growth in the upcoming quarter. They also said that networking attached to GPU compute systems is robust at over 75%. That means the customers that are buying NVIDIA's GPU compute systems, 75% of them are also buying the networking equipment attached to that. So that's a strong attach percentage, a very high attach percentage, relatively speaking. And you can understand why the company is expecting that to return to growth in Q1. Much of the difficulty came in the supply constraints because remember, NVIDIA was switching from their previous generation Hopper technology, which was based on the NVLink 8, to the larger NVLink 72, which is a much bigger system with many more components. And so NVIDIA had some difficulty in making that switch over. But they said from here on out, it should be easier because even the next generation technology after Blackwell, right now they're in the Blackwell phase. They're ramping up the Blackwell technology. The next generation upcoming is the Rubin technology next year. That's also going to be on the NVLink 72 system. So it's going to be on the same system that they just upgraded to. That's going to make it easier in terms of execution from NVIDIA's perspective over the next year. And so this segment, while it struggled in the current quarter, NVIDIA's management team is very optimistic about this segment longer term, especially because NVIDIA commands so much market share and it's so far ahead of its competitors that it can tell customers, look, if you want to buy our GPU systems, it will help you if you also buy our networking equipment. If you're not trying to buy our networking equipment in addition to our GPU equipment, maybe we'll sell our GPU equipment to another customer that wants to buy the full package because that's a more profitable sale for us. And we only have a limited amount of our Blackwell systems. We can choose to allocate our Blackwell systems to customers that want to buy the full system, including our networking, which will be a more profitable sale for us. So you decide, either you buy it with the networking attached or you wait for your allocation of the Blackwell after we serve all of our other more priority customers that want the full package. Hey everyone, so many of you have been asking about my investing strategy, and I'm excited to announce that I've written a book that's available for sale now that describes my 6-step investing framework for evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.